How's everybody doing? I'm going to show you how I buff my brass. It's an old motor I picked up a long time ago, probably paid about $5 for it. It's spindle you can get anywhere. Threaded spindle that you can connect right to just about any motor. They come in 2 different sizes. That's an old buffing pad that I've been using for a long time. I took it apart to show you what I use for buffing brass. You can just sit back and watch. We're just installing the first buffing pad. They come in a couple different thicknesses and a couple different, some are a little harder than other ones. This first one I'm putting on is a stiffer pad. You can pick them up at anywhere like Menards or Fleet Farm or Home Depot. You can get the spindle that goes on the shaft of that motor and the buffing pads at those kind of stores. It'll take me a few minutes to get this connected. I went to try to put the second pad on and didn't have enough room, so I had to tighten up that inside nut. Now I should have used is a little bit bigger washer. The washer that I used was old grinding pads, and they just busted right out of there, so I had to retighten everything after they busted out. But anyway, you get the idea. Just put the pad on there, put the washers that comes with it on there, and tighten it up. That was that disc I was telling you about that just busted right through. The washer stayed on, and just I wanted to stiffen that up a little bit. I thought, well, by putting a little bit larger plate around there, that would keep that together better. But I just tightened it up anyway. Someplace around here I got some metal washers that are larger that I could put on there. You know, tighten up that softer brush just a little bit, the pad. But it still works. This I bought at Fleet Farm. It's for polishing the chrome on your cars. Well, I don't know how much chrome is on cars nowadays, but they used to have chrome all over the place years ago. There was a product called Blitz. I'm a musician and a drummer, and I used to buy these little tubes of Blitz for polishing my brass cymbals. After I found this stuff, I used it on my cymbals, and it works better actually, and it's cheaper. A tube of Blitz was around $5 a tube back when, and this thing, I think the whole bottle there was only about $5. Anyway, this is an old teapot that I got for my son, my daughter's husband. He picked the stuff up someplace. He picked up a few pieces, and he knows Dad likes brass and copper. So buffing brass and buffing copper is exactly the same. You just Put a little bit of the chrome polish on there and pull it up against that wheel and let it do its thing. You'll see here in a minute the difference in how that's starting to shine. I've got over 100 pieces of brass that I buffed out like this, and not too many pieces of copper, but a few. Some of these pieces, they spray lacquer on. The better pieces of brass, they don't do it to. And the better pieces of copper, they don't do it to. But some of the pieces, they'll spray them with a clear lacquer to keep them shiny over the years and so they don't oxidize. Well, sometimes when you're going to take what you think is just oxidation off the metal, it's actually paint. I found that some of those pieces that you could use a paint remover on and wouldn't have to grind so hard to get the paint off first before you shine it up. The other trick is that if you want to keep it shiny, you can always get yourself a small spray can of clear lacquer and spray it after you're done polishing. But just make sure that you clean the piece of metal off with some lacquer thinner so that your coat of paint will actually stick to the metal. The other thing you can do is, after you get done buffing it with the silver polish, is buff it with car wax. Use a paste car wax and put it on, and that'll put a shine, make it even shinier for you. As the wax dries out, it leaves a little coat, which helps the oxidation from hitting the product. Any kind of metal, if you touch it with your fingers, silver or copper or brass or any of those, well, because of the acid that's in a human being's fingers, get on the metal, and that acid helps oxidation and for the metal to turn black. And basically all we're doing here by running it on this buffer, we're taking out all that dark black stuff. It's starting to get shiny. I turned off the camera for a little while and went and did some polishing on it and cleaned it off with lacquer thinner. And we'll see here in a minute how much better this piece is going to look. I like the antique look, I just don't like the old tarnished look. So when I'm doing a piece like this, I really don't care if I don't get it all off. You could get in between all those tiny little spots that you can't get at with the big buffer by using a motor tool. They make little bitty buffers for your motor tool and little buffing pads, and you can just use the same stuff and use your motor tool to shine it up inside and all those places where you can't get at with the big buffing wheel. I don't do that because, like I said, I kind of like the look of part of it, at least looking its age. It really doesn't add any value to the metal, it just makes it look nice. obviously you can use this same method to polish your silver. Yeah, we're starting to look better. Anyway. That handle at first I thought was painted, but it's brass. That's why it shined up so nice. The spout on it is brass too. Yeah, here we're back. After I spent a little time on it. The longer you spend on it, the more stuff you get off. And the shinier it gets. This isn't the only piece I'm going to show you. I got a piece of brass that I did right after I got through messing with this teapot. Just to give you an idea what it looks like when you buff out brass. You find that there are a lot of things that are made out of brass that can be shined up. Doorknobs. Your older doorknobs really turn out nice when you do this to them. The plates that are behind the older doors, those are brass. A lot of your lighting fixtures, lamps. For a while I was picking up brass lamps and taking them apart and buffing out the brass on the lamp. Most of the stuff I do in the winter, but he just gave me the stuff, so I thought, well, maybe I'll just do a video on it. And put the rest of it away for when it gets cold out. Right now I just clamp my motor right to the top of my table saw outside. So there you are. It's starting to look a little better. Each piece takes a different amount of time. And here we go with a piece of brass. That's a crab. Gotta watch out when you're holding that stuff up against the wheel. It spins so fast that sometimes it'll catch and pull it right out of your hand. The crab went flying on me, ended up on the floor. You really don't have to push too hard on it. You let the machine do the work. You find out that the harder you push, the warmer that the metal gets, and the warmer the metal gets, the faster the black stuff comes off. So sometimes I get to where I'm pushing on it, it'll grab it, almost tear it right out of my hand. And obviously you notice that I don't wear gloves. I'm not a person that wears gloves. It takes too long to put them on and take them off. I'm doing this kind of stuff my whole life. I never have used gloves. See how that pulled right there? There it goes again, and pulling it underneath the thing. You just got to be careful when you're holding it up against the pad. Well, let's see how this is going to look. When some of your better brass pieces are held together with screws, and I could have taken the little bitty screws out of this thing, and all those little his claws and stuff would come off, and then you could clean them up one at a time. For now, I'm just doing the whole thing to show you. Starts out wet, and as the motor spins, the pad spins on there. I put it across the soft there, it caught it, pulled it right out of my hand, and I dropped it on the floor. The stuff is wet, and as it starts to dry, is when you start getting the shine. Turns into a powder, and you get it all over you. By the time I got through doing these little pieces, I had speckled glasses. It washes off really easy. Looks like we're starting to get done with this piece. Shiny crab and other products. I want to thank you guys for watching. You all have a good day.